WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Standing in line to get my bills that they have told me I need chill. Just like this and you will be fine. Don't lose your mind, yes, that's alright.
Welcome back to the VA, young man, up in the session.
Hello.
We'll talk about anxiety, depression, and your aggression. Are
Okay.
you unable to cope?
No.
Do you feel like you wanna hurt yourself or others? Do you feel like no hope? No, doc, I feel like I'm on a slippery slope. I don't
Okay.
feel like I'm a human. I don't laugh, I don't cry, I don't joke. Like these meds you got me on make me feel like a junkie on dope. My brain keeps zapping me constantly. It's like I'm fucking having a stroke.
First of all, I want to thank you for your service.
Fucking thank you for the support.
And if you want to hurt yourself or anybody else,
No,
we have a place here for you in the hospital. But if not, we have these 10,000 medications
What?
for you.
Standing in line to get my bills that they have told me I need chill. Just like this and you will be fine. Don't lose your mind, yes, that's alright. Standing in line to get my bills that they have told me I need chill. Just like this and you will be fine. Don't lose your mind, yes, that's alright.
But doc, my dick don't work. Easy fix, here's Viagra. Plus my guts are hurting, my ass is flowing like Niagara. Facts. Well, here's some Finnegan, some Tramadol, Xanax, some Ambien Effexa, Abilify and Demerol. Facts. Holy shit, doc, goddamn, I think you're trying to kill me. Will you complain about this and that, you fucking feel me? Goddamn, you're fucking evil, now you're just being silly. Hurry up, blow your brains out already, you stupid hillbilly. Quote.
All you combat veterans are just a burden on the U.S. government and the U.S. financial system. All you want is a handout.
Standing in line to get my bills that they have told me I need chill. Just like this and you will be fine. Don't lose your mind, yes, that's alright. Standing in line to get my bills that they have told me I need chill. Just like this and you will be fine. Don't lose your mind, yes, that's alright.
I know a lot of you might not know about genetic testing, but it helps you find the medication that you need for your genetics. Don't be a guinea pig with this shit. Get your health right.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Just rub some salve on it. It'll be okay. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is the 12th day of February, 2021. Tell you the truth, I never thought I'd see the year 2021, and we're already 2 months into it, so I guess we're doing okay. Welcome, everyone. This is Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and up there is where is he? He's over there. That's Pooky. And you're going to be spending a couple of hours with us, hopefully, and we're going to have a good time. We have a guest tonight. And Air Force veteran Ryan Paul Wilson will be on the show to talk about his nonprofit organization called Hanoi's Lost Child Foundation. and the fundraising event that they are having to help a couple of veterans come on over to Texas for Helicopter for Heroes. They're having an event that's happening in the Dallas area. The Hanoi's Lost Child Foundation is in the Midwest in Ohio, so they're trying to send some veterans here to the frozen tundra of Texas for their event that they're having here. They do a lot of great work helping veterans directly, helping other veteran organizations who are like-minded. So it's great, man. You got to team up and do the good things. So how's Pooky doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Same old, living a life, trying to stay out of trouble, no raccoons flying around through the neighborhood,
Do you have a pet raccoon yet?
No. I had one for a while. Well, I wouldn't call it a pet. It was more like this random creature that I would feed every now and then, but
like a cat.
And I forgot to introduce Mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Don't get to talk to Mom very often.
No, I kind of took a back. I mean, I'm still working more behind the scenes, so I'm just not on air as often now.
Doing a great job.
Carl.
We would definitely know if you didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, I think everything would fall apart. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, we've got a great staff, but there's tons of stuff that you do that nobody ever sees, and including the staff members. So
yeah, I work my magic.
So we had a little bit of weather here in Texas.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Did you see that stuff on the news, man? It was pretty bad. And the thing is, okay, the weather forecast. I'm the type of person that pays attention to weather forecasts and like timing, and the timing for the storm that came through. It wasn't even a storm. There was some rain overnight, and then there was some freezing drizzle that was supposed to happen, but it wasn't supposed to accumulate until after 6 a.m. They said between 6 a.m. and probably 8 a.m. when the sun is fully up and everything starts warming up, the roads are going to be difficult. So I was like, hey, I'm going to leave and be at work a lot earlier than I really should be. So I got out on the road. It's interstate most of the way. I still did, it was slow. People were cautious, and I did see people that had hit the guardrails and spun off the road or got stuck. But all in all, it was about a 50 mile an hour trip. It's usually about 70, 75. So we were cautious. It was slow, but I got to where I was going. The side roads were slick. The access road to get to where I work was really, really slick. So I knew that things were probably headed south and traffic was going to be pretty bad. But during the day, it's supposed to, like it did, it warmed up and all that crap went away. My drive home was extremely uneventful, and it was pretty empty. There wasn't a whole lot of people on the road. The reason why is because I think all of those people were stuck in traffic because of this. I'm showing a video right now of a small area of Interstate 35, which runs north-south through the Metroplex into Fort Worth. This is about Northeast 28th Street in Richland Hills. And what you're seeing is traffic backed up in the express lanes. Some people would call them high occupancy vehicle lanes or HOV lanes. But this is there's traffic that just is the normal traffic on the interstate, but then there's these special lanes that you pay a toll, of course, to drive on them, but it's supposed to be a quicker trip. This is horrific, man. This is just one thing. One crash led to another crash, and this truck right here is just, there's no end to this. This wreck eventually affected, I think, 133 vehicles and killed 6 people. There's going to be a semi coming up here, and this is what kind of makes your butt pucker a little bit. That one right there, there's no stopping, and it's not like they didn't see They just couldn't. They just couldn't stop. What had that area of road? You're going at whatever highway speed is. You come up over a rise, and you go down.
Oh.
When you're coming up over the rise, you can't see what's in front of you. All you see is the road. By the time you get over that hill, it's over. It's too late. So icy conditions in Texas led to a massive pileup on Interstate 35 in Fort Worth, involving dozens of vehicles as authorities urged residents to stay home. I did not hear that broadcast. I did not hear the urgency to stay home. The number of vehicles, including both passenger vehicles and 18-wheelers, when I got this information, was between 70 and 100. The total so far is 133. The number could go up because the investigations were still going and first responders were still doing their job. The first crash occurred at 6:15 a.m. Texas Senator Beverly Powell said that the road, quote, may not have been properly treated, thus contributing to the crash. The same conditions that led to the incident also made it difficult for local agencies and first responders to conduct their rescue operations. At least 36 people were transported to the hospital for medical attention, and they're all in various conditions. I'm going to play another video, this is kind of like a after the sun came up aftermath. Mike Drivedahl, who is a Fort Worth Fire public information officer, told Fox News that people continued to walk up to the rescue workers and report medical events. Due to the icy conditions, the agencies are bringing in sand trucks to improve the law enforcement and fire and rescue's ability to actually reach people who were in need. Quote, this is obviously not something that we deal with a lot in Fort Worth. That's the understatement of the year, Drivedahl said, referring to the ice and snow, but we do have the resources to respond to it. Now, I drove, there's signs, the TxDOT, which is Texas Department of Transportation, signs out there that are saying, caution ahead, where we are currently treating the roads or whatever. Normally when a road is treated, you see some residue on the road that it had been treated. I didn't see any. I'm not saying that TxDOT didn't do anything. TxDOT, there's a different, like that that area. No, you can see Humvees there. TxDOT, it's like one agency is responsible for the interstate, and then there's a whole other agency that's responsible for the toll road. I think it's like a Tex Express or Texpress or something like that.
So bureaucracy.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I wasn't driving on that portion of Interstate 35 that day. I have no idea if it was treated or not. I know that I was slipping and sliding a little bit on the access roads. The interstates were fine.
This thing, like, especially down, I'd say on the East Coast, southern East Coast, is people don't realize that, like, the weather gets bad, the roads might get icy. But for some reason, the posted speed limit, we're going to do it anyways.
The thing is, and what I saw, and this is my experience from just yesterday, that everybody knew that the bad weather was coming. But people, and I witnessed, people there are those people that were taking it easy. Nobody was in a hurry. And then there's other people that are flashing the lights, honking the horn, trying to drive like there's nothing wrong with the roads, when obviously there was.
Well, from what I saw on the Weather Channel, because this is what I like to do in the morning, is I wake up, drink some coffee, and watch the Weather Channel for about 3 hours.
That's what everybody does.
But that whole section where that accident happened was actually an elevated, like a bridge platform, from what I understand.
Yes, there's a lot of bridges.
Well, I mean, bridges ice over really easy.
Yes,
they do.
They freeze. They freeze first.
Yes, because there's no insulation underneath it. It's got that cold air running through. It's going to freeze, and that's exactly what happened in this incident, where there was ice. Ice. There was ice.
McConnell Ellis says if this is I-35, it's an everyday occurrence. What I don't get, McConnell, is this is in the high occupancy lanes or the express lanes. They are surrounded by barriers, and there's no shoulder. Like, there's no breakdown lane. If you break down, there's like maybe 2 feet between that right line and the barrier. There's concrete barriers. You can't get off. So
Dallas, their HOV is what I call it, because DC.
Well, there's HOV. There's a difference. There's HOV, and then there's the express lanes. They're kind of
the express lanes are kind of like a toll road.
It's a toll road. Like if I'm driving from Fort Worth to Denton, or South Fort Worth to Denton, I can get in the HOV lane and completely bypass all of the exits that are in Fort Worth. It makes the drive a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So you just
So the way they kind of converted the HOV lanes in DC to like a toll thing where you could just speed your trip up.
I've got a funny HOV story. In California, I was driving from LAX to San Bernardino, and their HOV lanes are the only thing separating the riffraff lanes. And I was wondering why everybody is stopped and traffic just sucked. But all the way over on the left-hand side, traffic was moving like bullets, man. I was just like, I'm going to rent a car. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to go this way because I'm going all the way to San Bernardino. It's about an hour drive. So I jumped in the HOV lane, not knowing it was an HOV lane. And I'm moving. I'm passing all these people that are crawling. And as I'm exiting San Bernardino, there's a sign that says that there's a traffic fine of like $700 for driving in the HOV lane without having people in your car. I was like, whoops.
Maryland used to do that for some weird reason, where it was just a separate lane, just kind of mingled in with just a regular rabble. But I guess the lines were different; they were spaced different, so you can know you're in HOV lane or whatever it is.
I knew exactly where I was.
Crap to pass people.
I knew exactly where I was. I just didn't know until I got off the highway that it was an HOV. I was like, oh, whoops. Too late now. Yeah, I didn't get billed for it, so.
I didn't have cameras on it, probably. There weren't police watching it. I used it as a passing lane a couple times. I think it's like somewhere in Maryland where they've got that, where the same setup. And I was using it as a passing lane. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I was just jumping in and out of traffic. Yeah, cool, whatever.
So Tyler Welty asks, have they rescued everyone that needed medical attention? My wife was saying that there are people that are still out there. I don't know. All I know is I spend very little time on I-35. Most of my commute is on I-20, which is east-west, I-35 north-south. There's signs on I-20 saying, that stay away from that area because it's a reduced volume as far as traffic. It's 4 or 5 lanes wide.
Well, I'm pretty sure they triaged everyone as they went through.
I think so too.
Passed out their tags, red, yellow, green, or black.
I think just the logistics of getting to that lane. They completely shut down I-35 for most of Thursday. That crash happened at 6:15. That area of I-35 was shut down. No traffic was getting through. I have no idea where they're going to. They're probably going to get off at Northeast 28, go actually through downtown Fort Worth, and then back onto I-35 after they get north of the city. That's the only way that I think that they could have moved traffic. Direct. I'll bet it was just a nightmare. Not only for the people, obviously for the people who were in the accident, it was pretty freaking stressful, but
people that were like behind the accident.
Yeah, not knowing exactly what was going on, and just what the hell's going on. Stop, park. Put your car in park because you're not going anywhere.
I know on Weather Channel they were talking about some people that were still trapped. This morning, I don't know if that's changed or not, but they were scared of people getting hypothermia and stuff like that because they've just been trapped in their vehicle for so long.
And that makes sense. That place, imagine being car number one. Not that you caused the accident or you were the cause of the crap that happened behind you, but it's just like, damn. Or you were the last person through and the person next to you got lost traction and hit the barrier and you're like, whoo, that wasn't me. And then you go to work and then you get to work and it's like, oh my gosh, I just drove through there.
Just bit a bullet.
Yeah, you better go buy a lottery ticket too. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I don't know. I really don't know. I know that there was 133 vehicles involved. I don't think they've released an official number as far as the people who were injured, but I think six people died in that. I mean, after seeing that semi coming just full bore, and then launching that car out of that pile, up over the pile, and we were kind of it's sick, but we were kind of laughing at after everything was done and the sun had come up. You see this big mass of wrecked vehicles, and there's this white SUV sitting up on top. And I'm like,
I saw that.
I'm like, how did that happen? And we were joking at work. We're like, yeah, she's, whoever that is, they're on the phone with their significant other going, I don't know how I ended up here, but here's where I am. But after watching some more video from different angles, that was actually a car hauler that was going through, that was also involved in the accident, but it looks like there's this pristine white SUV sitting on top.
Does it get a discount now?
There were so many. I mean, there's JB Hunt trucks, of course, that FedEx.
Couple Humvees.
That flatbed with some Humvees on it.
Or they probably headed to, what is it on 20? Where they repair them or whatever.
I don't know.
Oh,
I really don't know.
I can't remember where.
Yeah, I know it's on that way. It's that way. Like, I don't know.
I eat at the place. You've heard of Jersey Mike's Subs, right? There's a pizza place right next to my Jersey Mike's near my house, and they've actually got an old school woodland green camouflaged Humvee there. I mean, full. I mean, it's not
why
they don't drive it. It just sits there.
I'll just sit there.
Yeah.
It's like I see people drive around in them. I'm like, why?
I worked with a guy that had a deuce and a half.
I mean, okay, that's acceptable. Like the old KC 1500s or 2500s. You know, I'm talking about like GMCs.
Yes. That
they used to use for like fob runners or whatever. Those are base runners. Those are good vehicles. But a Humvee, I mean, you hit 65 miles an hour and it feels like you're re-entering an atmosphere. It's
loud.
It's nuts, dude.
It's so loud. But boy, Arnold Schwarzenegger sure made him look cool.
Oh yeah, I think he converted his over to I think it's electric. I think
it's an electric vehicle now.
Yeah, he got real big into the green thing, and he started converting all his stuff. I think he still has a Sherman tank. I don't know, dudes. I mean, if I was rich like him, I'd probably buy weird shit too. But
well, I mean, look who you are. You're Pooky.
Yeah. Everyone needs a tank.
Well, right. At least one. That's right. Get an LMTV and make it a party bus. That is, you're going to have to get some kind of a ladder. Those things do sit kind of high. Higher than, I think an LMTV is a little bit harder to get in than a deuce and a half was.
Yeah.
You think? I think they sit a little bit higher.
Oh, climbing into them and working on them is two different things. But like sitting in the back of them while you're going down a bumpy ass road is fun.
Well, just like a deuce and a half. So why do they put tarps over the back of those? Yeah, I heard that. And this one I was in is like, you know why they put tarps on the back of this? So if they wreck it or go off the road, it keeps all the bodies inside. They don't have to go hunting for bodies if you wreck your deuce and a half.
I guess so. I mean, though, I was doing a training exercise out of White Sands, New Mexico, and
it's so pretty out there.
The troop strap fell off. I don't know why. It just fell off, and it got sucked into the wheelbase.
Hi, Desha. How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm sitting there, and I'm leaned up against this cheap aluminum frame to hold the troops in thing, the cattle guard or whatever it is, and I guess it ripped the whole thing out. I'm sitting there just kind of dangling, like, what happened to my back support? Looking at the ground like, oh, okay, cool.
I am not dead. See, Tyler says, I saw a guy in Carolina Beach. He had one and even welded a grill to the back. That would be a that'd be a useful. Are you talking about an LMTV or a deuce and a half, or a Humvee?
I know down in Texas, I've seen people ride around with their trucks like pulling behind a smoker. I've seen that lots of times in Texas. But
you were hanging by the troop strap. Is that what they?
No, I wasn't hanging on the troop strap. I was sitting there just kind of chilling next to it, and everything just ripped out behind me because I guess the troop strap got stuck in a wheel and just sucked everything down underneath.
Oh.
If I would have been leaning a little closer, I probably got yacked up in it, but whatever. I'm lucky like that.
So an LMTV with a grill on the back. That's if you're going to do it, man, do it. That's a nostalgia type thing.
I thought LMTVs were pieces of shit. So, I mean, this is my personal
I was
opinion.
out. The LMTV, we ran into some LMTVs, not ran into, but we experienced riding in LMTVs when I was contracting overseas. When I was in, it was all you had your deuce and a halves, you had your 5 tons, and then you had your Cuck V's and your your Suburbans.
You ever been to Biop?
Yeah, well, I flew from Kuwait City to Biop and then stayed there for a couple of days and then flew into.
Do you remember that tunnel that went under Irish?
I have no idea. It was dark when I got there and I didn't go out.
There was a tunnel that went under Rod Irish.
Okay.
It just kind of went under it, separated two different parts of the Victory Base complex. But there was a height warning. You know, we'd have to pull our antenna whips down to go through it because, you know, I mean, they smack it all over the place. But these idiots rolled an LMTV through it it had a gun turret on the top of it. And it was the most heinous sound I've ever heard.
It had a gun turret on the top of it, right?
Yes, that gun turret hit the top of that bridge, just pow, the twisted metal it was great.
Okay, Tina has mentioned the poltergeist in your room. Remember what we were talking about before the show?
I was just about to say that. I said this ghost needs to chill the hell out. I don't know what's going on with this.
It happened It happened a couple times last week. And I didn't mention it. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things. And then we mentioned, then you mentioned it right before the show, and now I'm noticing it, and now our audience is going to notice it.
I mean, I see it in the corner of my eye because I'm seeing myself on the screen, and I keep seeing it. And it's like, stop it, stop.
Maybe you ought to give a twisted tea to the poltergeist, and you guys can.
Maybe he's just angry. It might. I don't know.
Well, maybe he needs a good story to calm down. Okay, you are extremely well aware of the GameStop thing that happened, right? GameStop stock went from nothing to everything, and then now it's back down to now it's back down to almost nothing, not quite nothing.
No, it's still pretty high for $65 is. Well, last I checked was 60. That's pretty high for GameStop. Huh? Or
GameStop, considering it was back when it was trading, normally it was around $2 or less.
I think it was. Yeah, I think the lowest was $4, maybe.
Yeah, well, $2 to $4. So, lots of people made money. Lots of people lost money. But hey, there are some good guys out there. After making thousands of dollars off of GameStop stock last week, a 20-year-old college student used his newfound riches to pay it forward to a local children's hospital. Hunter Kahn. Dude's got a badass name. I like that name. Hunter Kahn, a mechanical engineering student at Cornell, donated multiple Nintendo Switch consoles and games to children's Minnesota hospital in Minneapolis after cashing out about $30,000 in stock last Wednesday. He was one of those guys that sold. I thought you were supposed to hold that stock.
You're supposed to hold with diamond hands, fool. Hold.
GameStop stock shares have jumped 1,625% in the last month. The soaring percentages are mostly due to a group of investors on Reddit who are buying the stock in a movement to hurt short sellers and hedge funds that bet on a stock to go down. Khan, who lives in Stillwater, Minnesota, said he participated in purchasing GameStop stock to join the movement to prove, quote, the big boys on Wall Street wrong. But he said donating a portion of his new fortune toward helping kids at the hospital felt better than waking up to any monetary gain. As a beneficiary of the recent events on Wall Street, I think it is important that myself and others pay forward our good fortune, Khan wrote in a post. These events have highlighted a lot of corruption, and with this transfer of power, it is important that we don't become the men in suits ourselves. I think that's pretty damn cool.
Well said. Well said.
He says the hospital says we're so grateful for this generous donation that will help bring joy to the kids in our hospitals, especially during these challenging times. It's inspiring to see young people in our community choosing to give back and pay it forward. His donations include 6 Nintendo Switch Lites, 2 Nintendo Switches, multiple games, and eShop gift cards, and screen protectors for everything, and cases. The hospital.
This is okay. When we were talking earlier, there was another kid that did something similar like this. So he's not the first kid to do this.
I think that there was like some 9-year-old kid that did something extremely similar. Hey Bailey, how you doing? Glad you could be here.
It's just good to see, not getting greedy. I made some money.
Well, he had
$30,000 is chump change if you think about it, but
he had a feel good statement about that. He's like, you have to do this because you don't want to become the men in suits ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure the kids there at the hospital enjoyed it because, like, I was in and out of the hospital as a kid, and anytime you got something, whether it's a video game or even a coloring book, it was exciting. Because you're in there because of whatever, and it just brightened up your day. So I'm pretty sure a lot of kids were happy that they got that. And even with Corona right now, I couldn't imagine sitting in a hospital and all you've got is like only one parent or two parents.
If they're
no one
even
else
allowed.
can see. Like you said, if.
Yeah, it's got to be especially lonely, and it's challenging for the staff members at the hospital, of course, to take care of these kids who don't have a choice. They got to be there. You don't get like weekend passes and shit. There's no group of people more deserving of receiving a bunch of video games than some kids going through a hard time, he told a CNN interviewer. After Khan shared a photo of his donation on his Reddit page, many people commented, and he was garnered with more than 179,000 upvotes for his post.
Awesome.
One user said, "Here is the real Robin Hood," kind of a dig at Robin Hood, that little trading app.
Yeah.
Khan said that he encourages others who have profited from this movement to continue to pay forward their good fortunes. If we're criticizing these people on Wall Street and moving the money from one side to the other side, it would be meaningless if we behave exactly like these people that we are criticizing. This dude, 20 years old, smart words, man. He said he's still holding on to the original 50 shares that he bought at $30 per share, and he says he plans to use the rest of his earnings toward paying off his college tuition. Well, I'm telling you what, if he's going for mechanical engineering, he's going to need it.
Yeah.
So good for Mr. Khan. Still like his name.
Khan.
Hunter Khan. Hunter Khan. See, I wasn't thinking of the Star Trek. It's just
okay.
a cool
I went straight for the nerd mode there, like straight Trekkie. So all right.
Right. Or I thought maybe you'd go like with Shaka Khan. That's Shaka Khan's kid, Hunter.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. There you go.
Speaking of Genghis Khan, I'm sorry.
Speaking of, okay, that was a segue. Speaking of Genghis Khan, go ahead, Mom.
There is like no grill up here, like Genghis Khan grill or whatever they call it.
Genghis grill?
They don't have them around here.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, they don't have them around here. I'm so mad about it.
Me too.
DC, they're everywhere in the DC area.
Okay, when I was up,
there's one at Fort Hood at the Great Place, but not here.
When I was up in the Toledo area, we had, it wasn't a Genghis grill, but it was just like that. It was actually, I think it was better.
Mongolian style grill.
It was a Mongolian style grill where you go and you pick out your meats and your vegetables and rice noodles, and they just make it right there in front of you.
They used to do that.
I wonder if you Googled like Mongolian grill in my area, they would.
I'm sure that would probably pull up. I'm sorry, not put up. Hey. So yeah, I don't know. Spanky and I have this thing where we just loop everything around with food.
Everything coalesces. You know what's really weird when my parents come down here to Texas and visit? The first thing I do is they have to sit down. My mom needs to have a glass of wine or something to decompress, and she bitches about the drivers here. Because people are kind of aggressive.
I wonder why.
They're kind of aggressive. They're driving all the way down from Wisconsin, so they dealing with
drivers in Texas have nothing on the drivers in the DC area.
That's what I hear.
No, they don't.
Drivers are always the worst wherever you're at.
I have to say, at least
around here, everyone's old and retired.
At least within Texas, like we can go 70 miles an hour. Or more, or 80 or 85 on the toll road.
Yeah, if you get on the right interstate.
So Tina was talking about, speaking of stocks, I just went in on something, I can't read that from here. SBE this week. Companies that are tied to CLII. It looks like CLII and SBE. Or BE. Or is that S? Like?
Yeah, they're going to be like the future gas stations.
Yeah, for the electrical charge. That's probably not a bad move. That's not.
I'll put it out there. I went really crazy investment, took a bunch of money and threw it into it because I just studied the trends or whatever it is. And I'm not an investment specialist, so don't take my words as investment advice. But Carnival Cruise Lines.
Oh, did you see what they're doing? Is that Carnival that's doing the 180 days around the world in 180 days?
I don't know about that, but I threw it down because I saw the pandemic trend. Like when the pandemic hit, their stocks just bottomed out dang near. So I was like, and it still hasn't bounced back yet. So I was like, now would probably be a good time to invest in it because I think come November, they're going full back at it again. That's what I'm understanding. So
it's kind of like with BP. Like when all that happened, their shit just dropped, and then look at them now.
Yeah. No, you can't touch BP.
Everything's so temporary. Everything that happens is so temporary. There's really nothing catastrophic that's happened to any company, and I'm not talking about Enron, but that because Enron was nothing but a Ponzi scheme. But companies bounce back. Companies will bounce back. American Airlines was once trading at like 20 cents a share. And I'm not saying they're doing great. They're like, what, $20 a share now, but they were on the verge of just bankruptcy and bad stuff happening. And, they're still viable. Airline stocks are really sucking though.
Yeah. What was it? Apple, Macintosh.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, I think their shares were like something insane. Like I think it was like $1 a share or something. Just imagine if you would have just dumped some money in that. Google, when it went public, I think it was like $80 a share or $50 a share. I can't remember what it was. That's just nuts, man.
So Amazon. Tina, you said not an investment person either, but she figured that stock would go up since Tesla soared. Now, does Tesla make their own charging stations, or do they contract that out? Something tells me that they would probably make their own. They're really, really hands-on as far as their vehicles. I don't know for sure.
Well, I'm just waiting for SpaceX to go public, if it ever goes public. But once it does, I'm invested in that shit.
Yeah, Elon Musk says that he's, they've got, and I've got a story here about this, that he's just waiting for his people to do studies based on their limited, what do they have now? They have a limited, it's a pre-order? I think it's a pre-order. Oh, let me pull up the Starlink graphic I've got here.
Oh, you talk about Starlink. Okay,
Starlink.
I'm reading this right now. It's not a limited pre-order. It's kind of like the way you order a Tesla, where you get into line, you put a deposit down, and when your time comes up in line, you order the equipment, you get on the system. Same concept, no?
But it's a
first limit it based off of capacity, which makes sense because it's not really fully capable yet of handling, what they're claiming to. Even though I think Elon Musk came out, wasn't Elon Musk or someone came out and said their new goal instead of 1 gigabit a second is now 10 gigabits a second.
Whoa, they upped it. Usually
Yes.
you set a goal and you go, nah, and then they back down off of that.
Well, 1 gig is a really good goal, but from what I was reading online, I've been following this really religiously. I mean, I got landline. I'm fine with that. I just like the idea of something else like competition coming into the old system to like make them rethink the way things work.
I would like to have
a
different. Tell you the truth, I would like to have, and this is Koz speaking. I would like to have a different option rather than I've got AT&T fiber right now, and that's 300 up, 300 down. I'm paying about $80 a month.
That's good.
It's
not
not
where I'm at.
It's not bad.
I'm paying probably just as much as you are, and I'm only getting 150 down and 10 up.
That really is. It's hampering if you're a streamer. If you have a powerful system that and you're doing streaming, that probably eats up a lot of your bandwidth. If you had so much, if you had 300 up, that would be like you don't care. You just don't care.
Oh, tell me more about that 300 up.
Oh yeah.
I have no clue what you're talking about. So
It's
I
basically
remember when I had 150 up and I thought I was a big baller. I was like, oh yeah, I can run a server in my house. And 300, oh man, it's giving me a chub. Man.
at 300 you can definitely run a big server. You could have your own ISP.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Starlink pre-orders. SpaceX's Starlink has expanded the pre-order program for its new satellite internet service. The Elon Musk founded company this week has begun to allow interested customers to pre-order a satellite internet kit with a $99 deposit due on the day of sign-up. Although the service isn't very widely available yet, once it does come to your area, you will need to pay an additional $499 for the hardware, which includes a Starlink satellite dish for your house, a Wi-Fi router, a power supply, cables, and a mounting tripod. There will also be fees for shipping and tax. The regular internet service cost runs about $99 a month. Orders are going to be filled on a first-come, first-served basis. The process could take up to 6 months. And it all depends on your location. Once your number comes up, if you decide not to get the service, the money that you put forward is fully refundable.
This is just a deposit, yeah.
So SpaceX. Go ahead.
I know. I've seen the way this system is set up, like the hardware on it, and it is amazing. You don't need a tech to come out to your house to set it up. Any idiot can set it up. It's a power injector, PoE injector. I know you know what a power over Ethernet is.
Yes, I do.
Power supply. It powers the transceiver. It powers the modem. Everything just plugs up. Boom, boom, bam, bam. Set it up on the top of your roof. You don't even have to dial it in. It dials itself in.
So it's like you're looking at a stupid little 20-watt, 19-volt power supply. Then it's something silly.
90 watt.
90
PoE.
watts. Wow.
Yeah, if you hooked it up to your regular equipment, you'd fry
it.
Yeah. Don't go plugging that up to nothing that you have. Keep it on the start. This thing is amazing though. Like you hook it up.
Imagine how many other people are going to be like, "What if I'm going to get my own router?" No.
Ooh. Now there is a way to set it into a mode where you can run like Ethernet off of you could turn the wireless mode off and run your own router if you want to. There's a way to do that, no? But I don't know, the way with like anything that like SpaceX touches is like gold, so I'd probably just roll with the wireless option on that. But I do like my hardwire stuff.
So what I'm wondering is how is the FCC going to get their dollars out of this?
I don't know. I mean, I was reading an article now. They're talking about trying to regulate space.
Who's they? Who owns space?
The big governments, the EU and the UN, and all these people are talking about trying to regulate space because
this reminds me of a story.
They're afraid of what's it called? It's not Kepler syndrome. Is it Kepler syndrome? It's when you have a bunch of space debris just flying around all over the place and nothing can get launched at that point. That's what they're scared of.
You've got the Kepler asteroid belt.
It's Kesper's. I can't. It starts with a K.
Okay.
But the whole idea behind it is, okay, we have one satellite. The whole idea behind
so
it
much
is
crap in the
Gravity.
sky.
Yeah, the movie Gravity pretty much explained it. One thing blows up, and then now everything's blowing up, and now you just got shrapnel flying in your orbit, pretty much, and that's what they're worried about. But the Starlink satellites have an anti-collision thing where if it detects it's going to collide and it can't do anything, it burns itself into the atmosphere almost instantly.
Oh. I was going to wait. Some script kiddie wrote up kiddie wrote up something that just says, "Okay, juke left, juke right."
It has an auto detect, but if it's like, oh, collision, we can't stop a collision, it just burns itself. It's just like, okay, well, I'll sacrifice myself to save everything else up there.
And they're mass producing these satellites. I mean, every time they go up, they're dumping 60 or so satellites up.
These things are small though; they're not really that big. I mean, the whole system is just amazing. It blows my mind. Why hasn't someone thought of it up until now? But
well, it took someone like Elon Musk. Well, this is probably thought of a long time ago, but it took Elon Musk, someone with like unlimited resources, to think of to actually put it into a physical being.
When I first heard it, I was like, this is batshit crazy. It'll never work. That's what I said. But then now I'm 100% behind it. I don't know. Have you seen the constellations yet in the sky yet?
I haven't looked.
I seen them one morning down in Florida. I was kind of chilling and I looked up and I was like, oh, that's cool. What is that? Oh, that's Starlink. You can see them. They're like in a little line in a train running across the sky. It's pretty cool.
Hauling ass. SpaceX is currently rolling out this internet service as part of a public beta domestically and internationally with the goal of expanding near global coverage of the populated world in 2021. That's pretty ambitious. The coverage area for this beta includes the United States, Canada, and the UK. The company says that speeds in its current beta will vary from 50 megabits per second to 150 megabits per second, with latency ranging from 20 to 40 milliseconds. Which is
insane for a satellite connection.
Which isn't bad for a satellite, exactly.
Because I've had legit, I think I had Usenet. I think I was pulling almost 3,000 milliseconds, so 3-second latency. Yeah. It was nuts.
Yeah, from the time and latency is I guess in layman's terms is the time that it takes for when you hit the enter key for shit to happen.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
So if you're talking about 40 milliseconds, that's nothing. That's a fraction of a second.
I mean, I get 10 on my landline.
Kessler syndrome, and yes,
Kessler.
it's a very real threat. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. We got some
Kessler syndrome.
We got some smart listeners.
I knew it started with a K. I think Kepler for some reason because of the Kepler belt. My brain's just. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, the Kepler belt is another one. You don't fly through it. You fly around it.
You fly into it. You fly into it.
So if you fly into it at the speed of light,
you get very super irradiated. I don't know.
Anyway, during it says it warns during this beta phase that there will be brief periods of no connectivity or limited connectivity, but it expects that the offering will improve dramatically as time goes by. As it launches more satellites and adds more ground stations, it improves connectivity, and of course there will be improvements to the software, because software can always be improved. The company has been continuing to launch satellites into space, sending 60 into orbit last week, with another launch planned for as soon as probably yesterday. I got this story earlier this week, so they said Thursday. So, and
that's going to be the bread and butter winner for I think SpaceX is that network, because it's going to bring in a lot of revenue for them. I really do think.
I think so, and I'm looking at their price point with $500 for the equipment and $99 a month for access. If you buy a helicopter, like if you want to buy a Bell 407, you're going to spend probably a couple $1 million, and people just will be like, okay, it's a couple $1 million, but you're going to spend thousands of dollars just for maintenance. So the money that they're making on the aftermarket stuff is probably going to be enough to support the company with, everyone paying $500 for the equipment and then $99 a month. And it's probably nothing. It's probably something that just runs itself. You've got a receiver.
It's an automated system pretty much is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you've got your transceiver in your house and their stuff works. They know it works. And it's just how many people times, $99 a month. That's a lot of Dara right there.
Well, see, that's the thing is with the thought process behind Starlink was they were accessing an untapped market. Landline, the traditional land internet will only go so far until they deem that the cost is too great to run any further at this point. Okay. They call that the last quarter mile, last mile in the IT field, where it's not beneficial for me to hit this last house or these last couple homes. So I'm just going to say, screw you, ain't getting internet service.
Yes, like there's my daughter living in Montana. She is, and this isn't IT related, but she is in Gallatin County. She's not able to get trash. She's like on the cusp of these two cities, and so she has no trash service. No trash service. Can you believe that? She has to either like take her trash in a bag to like my ex-wife's house, or she takes it to work and puts it in the dumpster.
That's crazy. There's no like public dump anywhere close to her.
She can take it to the dump. There's actually a dump close by.
Okay, that's what I was to say. There's of my life in areas where you just grab your trash and you drive down the road and you throw it at the dump because there's no trash service.
That's what her option is. She doesn't have like a truck that comes and picks up her trash can.
Oh, that's a city thing. I mean, this is a city thing.
Or it's like ordering a pizza. Oh, we don't deliver that far.
Yes, that is the pain in the butt trying to find pizza delivered when you live out in BFE.
So on Starlink's website, SpaceX pitches the offering as being ideally suited. This is the Starlink thing, ideally suited for areas of the globe where connectivity has typically been a challenge, which will be very, very appealing to a lot of folks, especially up in Montana. They've been fighting with internet connectivity, and they've kind of solved it, but not really. It's pretty sketch up there. It's good when it's good, or it's good when it's connected. When it's not connected, which is a lot, especially in the wintertime.
Well, they tried that WiMAX thing out in a lot of rural areas, and
that's what they did. They did. It's just like free internet for everybody, by the county. Of course, your tax dollars pay for it, so there's nothing that's free. Go ahead, say it. They used their tax.
Oh no, they tried the WiMAX thing out there forever. I lived in a place in Virginia. This is the East Coast, close to DC. I'd say about 60 miles from DC. So you figure internet connectivity. Yeah. The county I was living in had, I think, 15% available internet connectivity through the entire county. 15% of the population had an active internet connection in their house.
Because of why?
They wouldn't run the cable. It was just too expensive to run the cable.
Aren't there? That's not Appalachian, but are there mountains?
No, it wasn't that. So it was just the houses were so far separated apart. You got to look at it like that. You got one house here that's got 20 acres, one house here that's got 5 acres, the next house has 100 acres. That's the way it is in some parts of Virginia, where it's just farm rural area like that.
You think it would be easy to run a trunk and then just
run it off like that? Yeah. I lived in a house. I was literally a quarter mile down the road. It would have cost me I think it was like they wanted me to pay $20,000 to get the connection out to the house.
So they had the trunk. They had the trunk there. You just had to get. It was up to you to get to the trunk.
Yeah. Pay for it.
No.
There's no way anyone. I mean, well, unless you're rich, but $20,000 is a big hunk of change to throw out just to get internet, huh?
Especially when all you do is you just make moonshine and.
Well, or you could pay $500 and have the satellite and everything. And,
I was trying to give you an opportunity to say taxation is theft.
Oh no, taxation is theft.
As when we got off the air last week, I'm like, oh, and that was in my mind. Taxation is theft. I was on Reddit or something, and someone was talking about, oh, we need to put taxes for this and taxes for that, and it can pay for this, and I just responded to taxation is theft, and I got like 1,000 downvotes. Just
good job.
Because I'm an asshole because I don't think that everyone should have free shit. So Starlink, back to the Starlink conversation, is using what is known as low Earth orbit satellites. The company says it places its constellations of satellites closer to the Earth than traditional satellites to allow for a stronger and faster connection than other space-based internet offerings. In a Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, they filed with the FCC last week, SpaceX revealed that it already has over 10,000 users for its internet service. Imagine being on that list. Elon Musk calling you up going, hey, this is a freebie. We just want you to have this and use it. Tell us what you think.
Yes, when the beta came out, I sent a message out to all my rural folks. It was like, sign up for this. But it's just sign up for it.
What is it?
It was a beta test. That's all it was. It's like they would send you the equipment and here test your shit out, and that's what it boiled down to.
And they have to. And Elon Musk had to do that. Here's a bunch of free crap. Try it out. And that's how he's figuring out how his.
Was it Linus Tech? I don't know if you follow a lot of the tech groups on YouTube and Facebook and stuff like. He got his hands on one course, test it out, talk about it, and he was showing it off, and I was amazed at the speed on it. I was actually amazed at the speed on it.
I mean, 150 is I guess the max now, and that's really impressive. It really is. Considering years ago, when back in my day when I got on the interwebs, I had that AOL disc or whatever the hell. It's all freaking dial up on a 9600 baud modem. Things are really.
You had 9600 baud. Ooh, you were old,
dude. I thought I was in high. I was in high cotton when I had like the 25.5. I was like, man, this is great.
26K, I think.
26K. And then AOL offered the. You can put your phone on hold. Like if you get an incoming call, you can reject the incoming call and stay online. That was really cool. Those were the days, man.
Them old DSL days when someone would run a microwave in a house and the whole internet would go out.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Turn off the hairdryer, Mildred. I'm trying to download some music. It'll take you 3 days to download a song from the freaking internet.
I used to think it was so cool because I had a hard drive with like 300 songs on it from Napster. I was like, yeah, I got all this. I got my whole whopping 2 terabyte hard drive. Look at me.
I was into that Napster stuff, man.
No, it wasn't 2 terabytes. No, never mind. I lied. 2 gigabytes. I thought it was big Billy Badass for 2 gigs. I was like, I'll never be able to fill this shit up.
Oh, terabytes. Yeah. Terabytes in those days belonged to like NASA and shit like that.
Yeah, I got a 10 terabyte solid state external chilling behind my computer right now that I don't think I'll ever be able to fill that thing up.
I love the ways that computers have been, and we can get into this and probably at some other show. But we've got a break coming up here.
Show on technology.
That would be great. We can do that next week. Trying to figure out. Okay. We've got Hanoi's Lost Child. Ryan Paul Wilson is going to be with us right after the break. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be back in math. stuff and things. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes and some change. Please listen to the break, because Ryan Paul Wilson isn't just the head honcho of this awesome foundation. He's in a band, and I got one of his songs, which kind of explains the Hanoi's Lost Child title for his foundation. So stick with us here on WTF Nation Radio. We're going to be back in just a few minutes, and shots.
WTF Nation Radio.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby, or
you better hide that big-ass forehead.
I love that. You better hide that big-ass forehead. Anyway, hey, we're back. This is WTF Nation Radio. My name is Koz. And we're back for the second hour of Friday Night Freedom on this February 12th, 2021. I am honored, actually, to have Ryan Paul Wilson here on the call. He is the founder and HMFIC of Hanoi's Lost Child. Ryan, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Really great to have you. I was I've been busy this week, and I haven't been doing my research, so I just had this massive dump of information of Hanoi's Lost Child and what their mission is, and what they do means for veterans and other veterans organizations. You guys do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We're the for the bang for the buck. For the amount of income that we bring in, we focus on doerism. We just get things done. And I'm honored to have a really, really strong team and a group of people that you surround yourself with doers, and you'd be surprised what happens, And so we just all started with a dream.
But you got a bunch of people with you, coalescing around a common mission. So you guys are knocking it out of the park, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We enjoy it. We got a big trip coming up at the end of the month. We've got a few events coming up this year that we're working on. The COVID stuff doesn't exactly help us out.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah. You can imagine. So we use entertainment to raise revenue, to directly impact veterans ourselves and help other veteran organizations. That's our line. So what we do is we use either music, live music shows, to raise money, and we've had quite a few guests come in and help us do that on like our big Helping Hero show, and a few other ones. And then we also use comedy. And I'll go into that story about how that helped us with veteran suicide. And then anything that uses entertainment, we try to basically party hard on the weekend so that way we can work our butts off during the week. That's kind of what we say. That's how we make the money, is creating an entertainment and a fun environment. And then we quietly go back behind the curtain and do the work that needs to be done to help our vets.
Now, when you talk about entertainment, that song that I played during the break, that the second song is one of y'all's.
Yeah. Yep. So was that the Hanoi's Lost Child?
Yes, it was. It was because I was like, okay, how did you get the name? And then I was reading your little bio, and I'm like, okay, I got to hear this. And then I heard it. I'm like, holy crap, this is great.
Yeah, it's funny. So I wrote that song during a band challenge in 2015, 2016. We were in the Greater Cincinnati band challenge, and there was 82 bands in the challenge.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and 1 Degree from Andy ended up winning. We took the title home. And then what was going on during that band challenge is, you have to play originals, and we got to the point where we were, getting to a longer set, and I really needed another song, something to hit. And that song came together. I always wanted to write a song about a veteran. So I wrote a story, and that's what Hanoi's Lost Child is talking about, a veteran dealing with depression and suicide. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to just donate that song, the royalties of it, to a couple of veteran organizations. And I started really doing my research, and I found Travis Mills is a quadruple amputee out of Afghanistan. I don't know if you've ever heard of Travis Mills, but just the personality and his energy in the face of his injuries, it'll blow you away. So he was really inspiring. And to be honest, I was sitting on the couch watching his video on YouTube, and I'm sitting here like, I'm with all four limbs and I'm not doing anything. And this guy's doing an organization without four limbs.
It really makes you reevaluate. Okay, what the fuck am I really complaining about?
100%. Yeah, and that's really the start motivation of what we were doing, and and then Adaptive Training Foundation is where he trained down in Dallas, Texas, with David Vobora, Morris Brissett, and so he got healthy there, and then of course the legend Chris Kyle, he was doing this stuff before it was cool to do it. Now there's a lot of organizations, and it's a culture, but he was doing it behind the scenes and didn't want the notoriety. And when his book came out, the notoriety found him, but he was doing this long before any of that started. And so those were my three main inspirations. And so that's why 10% of that song, Hanoi's Lost Child, actually goes to those guys. Whenever somebody spins it, royalties goes to that. And I will tell you, it doesn't make a whole lot of money doing music anymore. And about royalties, how they don't give you a whole lot anymore. But that was the premise of the idea. And so those guys very much inspire me to, so I guess doing the research into those guys, it was, why don't you do something? You're a doer. I needed a purpose. And I just started doing, and that's kind of where we went. So
does this ever branch off of your Air Force experience? Cause you're an Air Force veteran.
Yeah. I was a combat medic. Yeah. 100%. So I still feel like I got to do something for the guys. Right. So, you still want to take care of your guys, being a medic. So, and that's where it really kind of falls, interestingly, into the end of February when we go down to support Helicopters for Heroes. The last time a lot of these guys have been in a helicopter was the last time they were air vac'd out. And the last time before I started going down with Helicopters for Heroes that I was in a helicopter was when I was helping air vac guys out. Yeah. So, that was where kind of the bond came from. Brian Aft is an athlete that went through Adaptive Training Foundation. He's a bilateral amputee. He's just one of the toughest guys I've ever met in my life. And got his legs taken on an IED. And he was addicted to heroin because the VA basically told him he couldn't get any more pain pills for
exactly. And that's the story. They cut you off from Oxy or whatever opioid you're on, and you got to find something.
And that's where David Vobora found him at an AA meeting. And because David had troubles with, he was Mr. Irrelevant and played for the Rams and was drafted by the Rams and then when they were in St. Louis, and years of playing as a linebacker just really jacked up his shoulder and was on painkillers during his playing career. And he's like, I need to get off of this stuff. Started getting healthy, really retraining himself in the gym. He was training Olympic athletes, pro athletes, and things like that. And then he met Brian Aft at a meeting and ran up to him and was like, hey, I want to train you. Let's figure it out. And so they started training, and Brian went from having excruciating pain and being addicted to heroin to drug free and really building his body up against the pain. And it really had changed him. So, and then that became a thing for them to do. So they started, going, and they've grown crazy, and just, we're a huge supporter of them. They're one of our Texas families. They come up for us here when we do an event out at Emmett Ridge Farm, the Farmer's Mile. We bring up an adaptive athlete to run that event, and it's pretty intense.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's, once you get into, how the community grows, and you guys know it, it's just insanity, and it's just, we just have fun.
As you're talking, I'm just like, oh my gosh, do you know who? There are so many organizations that we've had on the show or that we're connected with, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we really need to compare notes, and I think that great things can be done.
And that's where, and that's kind of funny. We run a program called Rapid Response Fund. That's our quiet one. Veteran suicide obviously is a major issue, right? So
22 a day, right?
Right. Well, so, I guess the medic in me, and us, the vets, we go straight to the source. We take the hill. We try to figure out what's wrong, and we go after it. I don't play the politics of it. I don't do all the, there's a problem. We need to figure out what's going on. And we kept finding guys who were doing the preemptive work. A lot of people were coming into the post part of it to figure out what their head's at, help with the PTSD. There was the pre, and then there was post. What we were finding is that there wasn't a whole lot of people in the moment. And there is one organization here in Cincinnati. He kind of inspired me. His name's Guff, with 22 Until Valhalla. And he was working because the VA could only take so many phone calls. And then after they couldn't take the phone calls, then the algorithm went to his cell phone, and he was talking sometimes 10 guys down a night from suicide. And I could see the toll that it was taking on his body and the emotion and
that's
things like
good.
That. So,
that's good, but it's horrible at the same time.
Correct. So I just took it and I figured it's something else, and so we started this rapid response fund. So I started building a fund up in order to have it. But I'll tell you what, suicide's expensive. What we do is we try to create a fund so that way, one of my board members, Jeremy, was helping me during suicide. And he's like, how much do we have in a rapid response fund? And at the time, I think it was like $1,500. And he's like, good. Because he was worried when he was going into a suicide situation, he didn't want to have to think of his resources and what he was going to put his family into a debt situation or into a crunch or a bind to pay bills to help save this guy. He knew we had funds available, that we had already done the pre-work to do that. And that's where we use comedy shows and irony. We use comedy shows to raise money to fight suicide. So, and that helped us, and so we've done 27 veteran suicides that we've had success with in the last 18 months. And, we don't tell anybody the details. We don't tell anybody the names because we don't want to lose the integrity of it. I've seen organizations parade people across Facebook, hey, look at me, I'm doing philanthropy work, and they, use it for a Facebook post.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
It means so much better just doing right things for the right reasons without the here, hold my cell phone and watch me feed this homeless person.
Right.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah, exactly. That's not what we do. So, one amazing story. I mean, I can tell you the smallest of detail. We saved a life in Colorado with a Domino's pizza. We had a guy that was threatening suicide. It was money. I was hungry, all this stuff. And, out in Colorado, and I'm in Cincinnati. Somebody else is in Dallas. Somebody else is in Chicago. And we're trying to figure out all of our resources. And that's where I was talking about that network. when you get that network growing, you can call all your buddies and in favors and be like, who do you know out here? And next thing you know, our world gets really small quick.
Yeah, someone's phone's ringing and boots are on the ground, right?
Right. So I'm on the phone acting as a hostage negotiator, basically, and all my teams are working, or my team's with me, and we're working on it. And, you know, everything he had, like, no money. All right, we're wiring you money. Okay, this and that. I'm hungry, you know. And we got him elevated, and he's like, I'm just going to do it. Well, I had already found out his address because I was trying to get money wired, and I was like, and I had lived in Colorado when I was a kid, and I was like, what can I get to him really quickly? And I thought of Domino's Pizza, 30 minutes or less, right? So I ordered him a pizza, and like 15 minutes into the conversation, or 15 minutes into delivery time, and we're watching you. And Domino's has got that app where you can watch it.
You can see how it arrives or how far out it is.
Yeah, that's going on the iPad. We're watching this thing, like watching the time click, and this guy's getting elevated, and he finally, I was like, you know what, then just go ahead and do it. I said, because the thing is it's not going to be a family member that you're looking for to find you. It's not going to be this person to find you. It's not going to be one of your brothers to find you. It's going to be a pizza guy. It's going to be a pizza guy that comes to your house and finds you sitting there, and that's who's going to find you. And he got elevated through the phone down, and then and he came back and he's like, dude, that saved my life. And we got him off of it. We kind of keep monitoring him through Facebook and in other ways, you know. So it was one of our successes. I'm really afraid of the day that I'm not successful, but we just keep going. We just let God take us on that path and figure it out. I don't have the fear anymore. It's just one of those things where it's like, let's just go. And if somebody turns a weapon on me, that's his problem at the moment, his or her problem at the moment. If they have it on themselves, then that's when my compassion's coming, and then, so we're going to figure it out. We're going to get in there quietly, get you handled, get you to the help that you need, and take care of you. And that's kind of what we do with rapid response, but it's the quiet.
It's just got to be stressful is the wrong word. It's just fucked up that you're there to help somebody. They can't see a way out of their situation. So they're going to fuck shit up until there's nothing
quicksand.
Left.
It's quicksand. I mean, you just get caught in it, and you keep getting sucked in. And the more mistakes you happen, the law runs into you, and you just don't know where to go. And sometimes we just need to grab them, pull them back out, and you just have to be open-minded. You can't judge. You can't act like, oh, this guy's not worth the save, or, one thing we
Who's
really
not worth the save?
Yeah, we can't get into, we can't really get into drug habits. We kind of limit away from that, because that can just be a roller coaster of resources that we just cannot, I won't tolerate that. And what I'll do is I'll try to get you, there's the Joseph House here in Cincinnati. There's other organizations. It's just, I'm too small. I don't have the resources to handle a substance abuse situation, but we'll definitely jump in, take care of it, and help you move into a process.
And I don't know you, Ryan, but I'm guessing maybe you're not a therapist. You're not a clinician at all. So you need the resources. You need people that do these things.
Yes. Yeah. 100%, and that's, we've got Dr. James Frey is a psychologist, veteran, wrote a book. He's been kind of jumping in and getting involved. He's down in Tampa. We've got a few folks. Now, I'm operating room trained, so I'm very surgical, so that's kind of my world. But no, definitely on the therapy side of it. So that's exactly like I said. We just get them out, get them to the resources that we can use. And that's just kind of what we do, and just the heat of the moment. And then when the dust settles, we can help keep finding all these organizations, but they have a heartbeat. That's the key, right? So keeping them alive, and then letting the dust settle, through the moment. That's kind of what we do. That's why I feel like it's right there in the middle. It's not that that's not that post, but it's right there in the middle. But
so you've subdivided your efforts based on situations.
Niche.
Yeah.
Niche. Yeah. So exactly. So, and that's every one of our programs was a niche that needed to be carved in the moment.
And you probably started off with like one idea. We're going to help veterans. And then it's like, oh crap, we're going to help veterans that are suicidal. And then, oh crap, we're going to help veterans that happen to have other medical issues or other things. There's always some kind of a subtext that just says there's these other situations that are happening.
Just seeing, so one, try not to reinvent the wheel, right? So you got all these other organizations that
do that work all day long,
really doing amazing things at what they're doing. Well, I don't need to carbon copy that, right? So, but I find a niche that can also assist them, and then that's kind of where a lot of our programs came in. So, that's that side. And then once, there's a woman in New Richmond, Ohio. Her name's Sherry Davis. And she passed on us about a year or two ago. But she came to me after her husband died and talked about this graveyard that was in New Richmond behind the high school. And so it was, another niche that needed to be done. She had exhausted every resource. She went to the VFW. She went to the city. And nobody would listen to her. This woman walked the hill, and this is not a gentle hill. This is a hill, and it is a pioneer cemetery in New Richmond right behind high school. And she would walk it, and she would do what she can do. She wanted to help get that cemetery back into shape.
I have seen those pictures on Facebook, and that is amazing.
Yep. Right. So that started with her. She came to me, said, hey, I have this problem. This is what I need done. So we started researching it. Well, in order to work in a cemetery that's a pioneer cemetery, meaning one of the original cemeteries of that area.
It's a historical site, so you need permission, right?
Well, you need permission from the city, 100%. You need permission from the families, but luckily a lot of those are like there's not any living relatives a lot of times on a lot of those old sites. And then the thing is you have to be certified to work in a cemetery that is a pioneer cemetery. If it's not a pioneer cemetery, you're okay, but you have to be certified.
Can you briefly explain what the certification process is?
That's the funny part.
Oh, okay.
So there's not really a certifying body, but there's a law written that you have to be certified. So we actually found a guy all the way up.
I was like, dude, I'll get on the internet and pull up some creds, and I'll certify anybody that wants to take care of veterans.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing. So he came down. This guy is like the workman craft of cemetery. And I'll tell you what, the club is very small, and it's definitely, let's just say it's a big business. With headstones and things like that, getting them on the ground, but the repair and the restoration work, there's not many people out there. So this guy came down, he's got a website called atlaspreservations.com. That's where I get all of my tools and equipment and things like that. And it's great to have that resource. So he came down in October, and of course it was like freezing temperatures, but we did it anyway. We got out there, and he trained us on all these different types of stone work.
This is incredible.
Full mason work.
I had no idea that there was so much in the details about this.
Oh yeah. And I guess that's kind of one of our faults, I think, is that we do a lot of the work, but we tend to not exactly publicize a lot of it.
Well,
I hate to, I'm not a horn tooter. I hate to, let's just go do, I don't like to talk. I don't put myself around talkers as much as I put myself around doers. And so that, the biggest thing I will walk away from is when somebody comes up to me, Ryan, I have a great idea that you should, and that's when I'll do an about face and walk away, because I have too many of my dreams and things I need to do, or ideas that I've got or my group's got, that if somebody's not willing to put own effort in their ideas, then I don't partake in it. Like, go and start. If you start an idea and you're like, hey, Ryan, I really need help to do this idea, I'm right there next to you, shoveling, doing whatever you need to do.
Okay, I've got one of those. There's a message here on our Facebook that says, hey, Ryan, we should link up. I want to help you raise awareness about your cause and having you set up at our big car show. We are in Cincinnati too. So I'm going to say, Carl, please send us a message here at WTF Nation Radio. Send it to me. Yeah. Or send it to anybody here at WTF Nation Radio. Send the page a message, and we will forward it on to Ryan.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, we'll play music with it. We'll DJ it, whatever we can do, help you entertain. Actually, one of our board members has got a really neat car that I'm sure he does some shows too. Maybe he'll come up, and yeah, we'd love to do stuff like that. That's what we need. Is just like I said, we just need to breed tourism. I don't need you to do the same idea that I'm doing, right? Take your dream and run with it, and then we'll support you doing that. And that's kind of what is really neat about us, and that's kind of where we just started digging. 220-pound tablets of marble, one at a time. We did 73 headstones. So we were doing them in the freezing cold, and we were doing them in the
yeah, Carl. Back the heroes rumble.
Yeah, we're doing. We did 73 headstones in the cold. Peggy and I have dug one, and we used to do 2 or 3 in a day, and then one day in August, Peggy and I did one, and we about died trying to do one. So we try to do that stuff, and again, we just do it quietly, do it in the back. So
there's a lot of cemeteries, veteran cemeteries. I mean, we've had some staff members that have been been a part of, like in Georgia in like the Savannah area, trying to just taking care of like totally overgrown.
Yeah,
veteran cemetery.
If anybody's down in Savannah and you got connections down there, so Peggy and I are getting married down there in November.
Oh, congratulations!
I would love to start playing down there and doing some music stuff down there. And thank you. And if anybody wants to get down there and start doing some cemetery work, I would, that's a cool town for that kind of stuff. So I would love to get involved in that. If they've got some spots they want to get done, bring it to us. That's where Operation Headstone actually has its own Facebook page. Each one of our programs has its own Facebook page. Rapid Response has its own Facebook page. And then, so that way we can kind of broadcast each different program differently. And the coolest one that I'm really excited about right now is Wings Up Outdoors. And so that ties with the suicide stuff. We're talking about the preventative work. That's what this one is for. And we take guys on outdoor adventures, hunting, fishing, hiking, whatever in that aspect. And we get them out there, and, it's more about the fireside chat. It's more about the bonding experience. We use civilians and veterans to help lead these. So I inspired a bunch of guys at a show to kind of get to do their thing. And that's where Corey, Kyle, and Justin Smith, they're all Night Stalkers, 160th Night Stalkers.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And so they had this dream and this idea, and I told them, I was like, guys, why spend $20,000 of your own money trying to start your own 501c3? Just become a program under us, and you can use our resources. We have a lawyer. We have, I'll help you through the process on the rules and what you can and can't do, and help guide you, and I'll get involved. And they have worked their tail off. Justin's still active duty, so he can't really get into it. But Nick Hutto,
there's
the
that
third member.
There's that little chink in the chain. You're active duty. You can't really.
Yeah, you can't go like raise the money you get for vets, but he's retiring soon, and he'll be back. He's still with us. He just can't be a main figurehead. And but these three guys, man, they really get after it and they raise it. And we did in November, we were down on Land Between the Lakes doing a deer hunting trip, bow hunt trip, that we had guys in Fort Campbell that were going out and putting up stands and cameras and everything and trying to get some pre-work in so that way we can take our vets down. And we took 4 vets down, and again, we're dumb and we just forget to take pictures, and so
you need a staff photographer.
Yeah, we do. We definitely need one. And so it was a good time. I'll bring my guitar out around a fire just to kind of start the conversation. And then eventually it's usually I play a couple songs and then I throw it to the side and then we just end up bullshitting and
what's your go-to song to break the ice?
That's funny. To start off, I love to do. You
play like a C chord, a D chord, maybe a G major, and then you bust in.
I love my countries. Are you a Cody Jinks fan?
I don't do country, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That's okay. There's a guy. I do all different sorts of genres, but a guy named Cody Jinks is just kind of in my wheelhouse, and he just writes some songs that just hits home. So those are what I'm comfortable in. I'll run to that in color because I can sing it with pretty good emotion. And if you ever see pictures of me on stage, you'll always see me in sunglasses, and that's what that has to do with is
okay.
Because I'll tell you this story. It's pretty cool. The Littlefield family. Chad Littlefield died with Chris Kyle on the range in Glen Rose, Texas. And, so when I went down to introduce myself to the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, we brought the VFW Commander of Ohio's coin from 2016 down, Mr. Chris Haynes out of VFW. He's a big supporter of us. And so I brought his commander's coin down to put on to Chris Kyle's grave. Well, when we went to see the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, they're right there in like Waxahachie.
Yeah.
And Ennis and Arias. They're like, hey, great, you're going to go see Chris. He's 4 hours south down in Austin. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we are heading that way. So, but they said, but hey, right down the street is Chad Littlefield's grave. And I was like, perfect, because I had known the story, but I definitely wanted to pay my respects. So, my buddy Dean Adams and he was the main guy that really helped me get this off the ground. He's a colorectal surgeon that lives up in Pennsylvania now. He's an amazing guy. He's one of those guys that taught me, like, you can get a lot of hours out of a day. You just have to organize yourself right.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. It's just, and he taught me, like, stop watching TV and do things. So that's really where this whole thing started with. And he was with me. We went over to visit Chad's grave, and I was trying to find something to put onto his grave that wasn't a coin, because that's a military thing. I didn't want to do a military thing.
That makes sense.
Right. But the fact that it was a civilian giving to help veterans, he gave his life trying to help veterans, was a huge thing. And so I reached in my bag and I was trying to find something, and perfectly came out of there was a Billy Carey guitar pick. It's a personalized guitar pick of a buddy of mine. And he's actually one of the board members of Hanoi's Lost Child. We had just finished playing a show together, and I guess I had picked up one of his guitar picks when we played, and it was in my bag. And I was like, perfect. So I took that guitar pick and I laid it on his grave. And we just did a short little video, but I mean, I think we had like 300 likes at the time. We were brand new.
The moment that you looked at that guitar pick and you said, this is going to be perfect, made that exact moment perfect.
Yeah. Oh, it did. Yeah. And so Okay, so the funny thing about the pick is, okay, so Mama Littlefield, Judy Littlefield, goes out to the grave to visit Chad, and she goes out to sweep his grave off and scrape bird poop, as she says, and visit. And so she picks up these items from his grave and from that people leave. He has a group of buddies that leave fishing lures, like little rubber lizards and things like that. And so she takes them home and puts them, and she's got a room in his house that's where it's all Chad, And so she takes the guitar pick back, and she says to Chad's brother, Jerry Richardson, she says to Jerry, she's like, Chad couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Why would this be on his grave? And it intrigued him. So
it's like, where did this come from?
So Jerry gets on the internet and looks up Billy Carey, or looks up Carey. It's Carri is all that's on the pick, and looks it up. And sure enough, Billy Carey's profile picture was his pick.
God bless the internet.
Oh, God bless, on Facebook. So Jerry writes a message to Billy, says, hey, is this you? So funny thing is, Billy thinks that this is some guy that his wife picked up the guitar pick at the bar.
Oh, God,
he's jealous.
no.
He's like, great, I'm in trouble. Right. So he says, yeah, what about it? And then he said, hey, this is Chad Littlefield's brother. We found this guitar pick. Call me. And he gives him his phone number. So
that's call me, motherfucker? Or what?
No, this was call me good. Like, this is good. So, right. So the funny thing is, that was in July. In August, I'm driving up to VFW National Home for Children up in Michigan to help do another show. And I get a phone call from Billy bawling, and I had never heard Billy cry. So Mr. Tough Guy, I had never heard Billy cry. So I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, dude, you have to call this guy. This is Chad Littlefield's brother. And I'm like, oh my God. So, and he said he just finished talking to him for like an hour. So I call, of course I connect, and they're like saying, hey, you got to come down here. And he helps run an organization to keep Chad's name going, called Operation Valor down in Texas, down in Dallas. So we went down, Billy and I traveled all the way to Texas again. And, we went to play their gala. So when we got to Texas, we said, okay, Jerry, we want to meet you. We had met Jerry prior to this, and we said, we want to meet Mama Littlefield, Miss Judy, out at the grave, and we want to go visit Chad. So we went out to the grave, and we had kind of planned everything to go out there, and I said to Jerry, I said, what song would Chad want to hear? And he goes, oh, do you know Jamie Johnson's In Color? And I was like, sure do, no problem. And he's like, that was one of Chad's favorites. So I was like, okay. So we went out. It's a sunny day, but it's cold. We went out to Chad's grave, and we're sitting there, and Jerry's there, and Mama were right by the grave. So I grab my guitar out, and I start playing it, and Billy sings harmony with me. And I remember the whole time during that song, I'm just like, oh my God, I hope I really don't screw this up, and emotions go on.
My emotions are going. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Inside, I'm a wreck, but we get through it, but really quiet when we got back in the car. Mama wasn't in our car, but it was Jerry and Billy and I. We're in the back seat. And I looked at Billy, and I whispered to him really quickly, and I said, hey man, was that really tough to sing? And all he said to me was, bro, I'm glad I was wearing sunglasses. So that moment kicked the whole, that's why I wear sunglasses on stage every time I play, especially if I play that song, because it just rips me apart when I still have the memories of everything when I do it. So you know how when you get a song that just connects.
Yeah. And you get that in your throat, you just can't fucking do anything.
Well, and the thing is like I play songs throughout plenty of sets that, somebody either, came up to you and later said, hey, that really connected to me, or, you think about a person or you dedicate that song to it. And my whole set list gets to the point where I've connected with so many different people. Like I have these songs that just connect with those people. So that's where it's not an Eric Church thing. It's not to be cool thing. It's really to hide my eyes when I'm singing, because just in case I'm crying or just in case I get emotion or anything like that, that's what that's for. It's kind of fun.
It's hard not to get emotion. It's hard not to get emotional.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. So, and that's what we do. We use that kind of party environment or that kind of thing when we go out and play or do events, and then, like I said, we put that money in and we run these programs. Good thing is Operation Headstone's really not that expensive. It's just labor. That's the great thing about it.
It's labor, and you should not have a problem. You should not have a problem getting volunteers. So yeah.
No, you'd be surprised. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah. So, but what we try to do sometimes, we'll, as the weather starts to break, we'll post on Operation Headstone Facebook page, like, hey, we're going to be out at this cemetery, this day. A lot of times I'll take burn barrels and we'll go up and clean brush, and we got all the tools to clean all that stuff up. And then, like I said, fixing stones takes a time because you have to get the permissions. And you kind of have
everywhere,
to go in
or
with a plan.
is that just in Ohio, or is it's like pretty much everywhere you have to have?
Well, every grave is owned by a family.
Okay.
So, all right. So even though a cemetery can be owned, basically the leeways and everything like that, but plots are owned by families, right? So, and then the stone, you have to have the family permission. Now, if they're, if you can't find a next of kin, like a lot of stuff that I was doing were the 220-pound, just like Arlington Cemetery, those tablets that you see in Arlington, those are 220-pound, between 36 and 42-inch length marble headstones. It's almost like a standard production line marble headstone. A lot of times they sink, and you'll go up and you'll see one of those like 10 inches out of the ground kicking sideways, and you're like, oh, okay, that thing's probably broken. Or sometimes they are. Sometimes they just sunk over that long, especially Civil War headstones and
not being
like
cared for. Yeah.
And then you start digging and you start digging and you start digging, and you're down to your hip trying to pull this 220-pound tablet up out of the ground, and you'll feel it. And, so then what we'll do is we'll bring them up. Then we'll get a nice base of some stone, sand, and compact it down to the height where we want it. And then we'll get them level and reset them. And then we use D2 biologic cleanser. It's bio-friendly, and we'll spray it, scrub it, hit more water, and then we'll try to get it as clean as we can get it at the time. And then we'll spray it with that D2 biological and let the rain and snow do its work. And believe it or not, you spray it a couple times over a few months, and that thing will clean right up because the environment will do its work. And so it's really pretty simple. There's not a lot of tough work. And if it's something that's, really hard with the mortar and things like that we can't do, I can always phone.
A lot of our veterans have like no family left. I mean, it's
right. Well, working in cemeteries is pretty sobering, because you realize how quickly in a few generations we forget.
It doesn't take a lot.
No, it doesn't take long at all. And then you're 2 or 3 veteran, 2 or 3 generations from being just somebody's line on a genealogy map, but it's not like it was, oh, that's Uncle Joe, or hey, that's Grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa Koz was in the Gulf War,
right?
And then
you
that's
became you're a tidbit in conversation, but you're not somebody that you go visit once a year, or whatever, let alone. But do you may have somebody that's buried 5 generations deep from you that you have no idea who they are, so you're not going out to look at their stone, nor are going to invest the resources to have it repaired or redone. So That's why if it's a veteran stone, we can allocate the resources to taking care of it. So we just need people to kind of bring them to our attention.
And that's just another like comma, Hanoi's Lost Child, comma,
Yeah.
You guys do so much.
Yeah. It's and it's really neat. The intrinsic award, intrinsic reward versus extrinsic. So, you get that really good feeling and you just get that warm feeling in your heart. That's what's great about it. You're not getting the reward of money. You're not the pat on the back, all that stuff. It's just when you get out there and you get a team that's in a cemetery and you're pulling stones up and you look at it, the coolest thing about it though is at the end of the day, you can see a straight stone. You can see when we saw the before and after pictures of Watkins Hill Cemetery, what we had done. That is what's really kind of neat about that. And that's kind of what we needed as an organization, something we can take photos of and put on Facebook, not our suicidal members through rapid response. We need
Right.
something like that at the time that we can take pictures of and put it on Facebook. So that way we could say, hey, these are the kind of things we are doing, because we couldn't do it with the other stuff. So,
and that's what our guy Mud Puppy said when he did his cemetery refurb in Savannah. Was it just felt good? It was the right thing to do, yeah. And all day long they worked all day long,
right?
And it was nothing because that was the right thing to do,
right? And that's what you're trying to breed with the energy. I want to be the ball of energy that makes you feel like, man, I need to do something. I tell people all the time, I will work so hard in doing something and my team will work so hard in doing something because we want you to feel inadequate compared to us, because then that will motivate you. That will make you go, oh man, these guys are doing what? And I'm sitting here on my butt, because
right.
That's exactly what Travis Mills and ATF did to me. Like, what am I doing here with 4 limbs sitting here on the couch watching reruns of Big Bang Theory, over and over and over, watching 3 hours of my night go away, sitting on the couch watching TV, resting from when I got home from work, or I can utilize these 3 hours and put in some work and effort. And then then I can start making changes. And then you try to figure out, and that's what I recommend to anybody that's trying to do that is like, okay, don't try to change the world, because there's so many problems in this world to try to start taking on. Find that niche. What niche really sings to you? What are you willing to put effort and energy into that doesn't feel like a job? It doesn't feel stressful. It doesn't feel, when you're putting money into it, you're out of your own pocket. You're not feeling like, why am I doing this? You're ready to be like, hey, I enjoy this. It's like, just like if you're spending money on entertainment, going to the movies, for you, that'll feel like that same amount of money is going and to do something that you love, and that's what you'll enjoy. And, it'll cost us money to get down to Texas, but we're going to enjoy what we're doing. It's worth it. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook profile right now, I think is the picture of me bringing Brian Aft off of a helicopter after he was done with his flight back to his track chair. And I know there's a video out there, I think it's on our Facebook page, of me doing that whole carry. And what's funny is that was my buddy, my vice president, Steve, capturing that moment. And he's not a big, photo guy or anything like that, but he just had the wherewithal to capture that moment.
At the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was one of those pictures can speak. That wasn't 1,000 words. That was 1,000,000 words. And, in Cincinnati, I got questioned early when we started doing this. Why are you going to Texas? Why?
I was going to ask you what your, I mean, cause you're like, hey, we do things here and Tampa and we do things here and whatever. And then it always comes, there's always a Texas thing.
Well, to be honest with you, when you're just like, okay, if you play music, you want to step on the stage with the big dogs, right? You want to, as a new band, you want to open up for your dreams, to open up for another big band. right? You want to step on stage and be in the presence of, be around them, and you can start picking up tricks that, you know, musicians are horrible when we watch each other because we're analyzing each other. We're picking, like, what did they do with that chord? What did they do with that pick pattern? What did they do with that note line? You know, I'm horrible to watch a concert with because I'm studying the whole time instead of just being a fan. And so the same thing was with that same personality and same idea was, okay, I want to go where the big boys are in the veteran nonprofits, and I want to see how other people are running it, because we don't really have here in Cincinnati those big, huge organizations that, you know, just it's just different.
So there's you and who else? I mean, there's Back the Heroes Rumble, which is in your neighborhood.
Right. Okay. We've got the Barracks Project. We work with the Barracks Project here locally. You know, you got 22 Until Valhalla.
They're in Cincinnati too.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And you know, and we've, you know, you got that, but still, like when I go down there, you know, it's one of those things where you just start learning, and then connections, you know, the network, there's so many, in Texas. So, there's that benefit. It's like every, you know, musician or country star wants to be a country star.
Well, they go to Austin,
Nashville,
or Nashville. Yeah.
Right. Or
whatever, Nashville. Yeah. They come to Austin.
Right. Well, but they don't need to be there anymore. Right. So now with the internet, but the thing is sometimes you want to go down there and be in the environment, and then you can come back to Cincinnati. And I think that's kind of the play that we do. It's like, we want to go down and be in an environment. You guys, you know, that way we can network, do what we need to do, help with resources, gain connectivity, just like the network for the suicide stuff right there. I mean, it's huge. And they've got 22 Kill that's down there. We're good with 22 Kill.
I've seen so many trucks out here that just have this big ass bumper sticker, 22 Kill.
Yeah. Well, 22 Kill is one of the biggest suicide organizations in the nation. And if they really gained traction. There's quite a few football stars or a few people out there that wear that black ring on the trigger finger. That's what that's for, is to remind them not to put that finger in the trigger. And so we work with them quite a bit. Dan Lombardo, he's the president of it, and he's doing great work with it. I'll see him probably here in a couple of weeks when we're down in Texas.
So when are you coming down to Texas? That's March? Is that March?
No. At the end of the month. I'll be down there. We're leaving, I think, the 24th, but we'll be down there the 26th weekend.
So you're going to drive, not fly?
We got to drive. I'm pulling a big camper all the way down.
Oh, okay.
So, but
yeah, flying is kind of sketch right now.
I have no problem with it. Luckily, I'm a medic, so I'm vaccinated too. So that helps. But American Airlines doesn't like to carry about $3,000 worth of PA gear and all that stuff either. So,
well, that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm hauling a stage and lighting down, all the PA work and lighting down, and we're excited. I get to play on Friday night of the event. Taking a guy named Joey Vaslett from Cincinnati down. He's one of my top 10 vocalists of all time, let alone just amazing that he's a friend here in Cincinnati. But when we play, there's a huge keynote speaker. Robert O'Neill is going to be speaking at our event. And you know who Robert O'Neill is, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the man himself that killed bin Laden will be speaking, and it's kind of pretty big, huge honor to be able to share at least a microphone with him. So we're looking forward to that one. Also, one of the key members that captured Saddam will be down there.
When does that kick off?
It'll be the February 26th weekend, end of February. Yeah.
Is that the what is that organization here in NS Helicopters?
Yeah.
For Heroes?
Helicopters for Heroes. Yep. Yep, and that's huge. Philip Brooks was the founder of it. He's incredible, ball of energy, and he figured out the niche, right? Get up in the air and get these guys back in the air. And so I actually got to go down as a guest of one of my buddies that's in the Adaptive Training Foundation, Patrick Myers. Mm-hmm. And he's a bilateral amputee that was on the board for the Texas Hunters for Heroes. And he wanted to bring me down. And he's like, hey, man, bring another guy. So Bob Tingle, one of our board members, is he doesn't have a Purple Heart, but he has been through so many combat injuries. I just think he didn't want to receive it. But this guy's got a military resume that's quite extensive. And so I took him down, and we were down as guests. And one day, that day, Phil looked at me. He's like, hey, man, I need somebody to do this. Would you be interested? I'm like, heck yeah. I think he kind of saw I'm just, like the itch to need to do something. And so I started being an RSO and a safety officer on one of the helicopters, just making sure guys were safe and putting guys on, strapping them in correctly, having that connection, being a medic and having these guys and making sure they're safe and strapped in correctly and all that stuff. So we were up in the air and doing what we do. And I just worked, I think, the entire time and just go. And
you had a blast.
It wasn't work. It was
exactly.
It was a blur. And so next thing you know, he's like, hey man, you want to come back next year? And I'll bring a team. And so it was kind of fun. So I earned the right to bring a veteran from Cincinnati every time I came down. So we, as an organization, sponsor a vet every single year we go down. And we took Dan down one year. One day he doesn't know if his right leg's going to work, his left leg's going to work. He just has a lot of, TBI. So, it took an entire team to get him even out of the local area because just the anxiety and things like that. And then once we got him down there, changed his life. But I think everybody was focused on changing Dan's life. They didn't realize how much it changed them.
Oh.
So my team, that had never really been outside of Cincinnati and got to feel that what I get to feel, got to come down, and then they got the bug, and they even told me, they're like, it changed my life. And I think this will be my 5th year. And I think guys every time we bring somebody down, it's just one of those things. I cannot explain it. I can sit here and try to talk to you on the phone and tell you all about it, but I just can't until you're there,
Yeah, and, you have to experience it.
You have to. And this year we've got Brinks helicopter groups going with us. They're taking a helicopter down from Cincinnati to help get more guys in the air. And then we've got, Deadlow Brewing Companies coming. That's a Cincinnati local brewer here. They're coming down and support and being on crew. And we've got our guys, and we're taking a local veteran, Danny Ruck. He's a Purple Heart Marine, was hit, his Humvee was hit in an IED. And we're excited to take him down, put him up in the air, and it'll be a good time. So
there's a fundraiser to facilitate the transportation of these veterans to Texas.
Right. So this Sunday coming up, Valentine's Day. This is our 2nd annual We Heart Veterans. So we're calling it We Heart Veterans 2 this year. And so Joey and I will play it. And we're going to play from 4 to 7, but the event will go out from 3 to 9 all day Sunday. And Deadlow's got a whole bunch of raffles that the community has been graciously to donate. But we need people there to to purchase raffle tickets, right? We've got a lot of cool things, a lot of stuff that there's a few things that go pew, pew, pew. You know, kind of, that's my Facebook friendly. They can't fact me, you know, so, so
like pew, 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 or pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. So that's our keyword for toys like that.
Yeah.
But we have some items like that, some really cool things that a lot of people have donated. So we're going to have that going on, us playing. They've got some deals where if you buy 3 pints at the bar and tell them you're trying to do the a boat, it comes with a We Heart Veterans cup, commemorative cup that is color changing. It's kind of you know, and then they're gonna help us out on some beer sales to help raise money for everything that we're going down. And our Venmo is out there, at Hanoi's Lost Child is our Venmo tag, and our PayPal address, email address is dot HLCF at Hanoi'sLostChild.com. So PayPal or pp.hlcf at Hanoi'sLostChild.com.
Got to pay the bills, man. You really do. You have to.
And that's what's scary. COVID really kicked us this year. But, you know, we carry an umbrella on policy. You know, that comes out. The suicides don't stop, right? Those things come at us. So luckily we did a lot of hard work beforehand. But we're really excited when these venues and everything get going back. And I think people are itching for music. And I think this year live music is really going to soar. I really hope so.
It should. It should. And I think it will, because everyone's just going to go,
I think so.
Man, there's a concert here. I'm going.
Yeah, going. And, you know, and I think, you know, it's been neat. I've played a few. I've been lucky to play
small venues, maybe
places. Yeah, small venues.
Have you done some YouTube stuff or maybe some live stream stuff? Like here's us.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I guess I work. You know, I'm lucky. I'm blessed to work in the operating room. So me as a musician, I have a hard time doing the whole Facebook Live for money thing because I've got so many friends that are musicians that's their full-time job.
Yeah.
So I really don't try to step on that. You know, but yeah, I do. I use the Facebook Live stuff to just get that connectivity. Even now when I play live shows, when we play Dead Low, I will stream that live on Facebook. And what we did was we found that's a way for us to take a small live crowd and get an interactive internet crowd to. So what we try to do is get people that are in the crowd to log into that Facebook.
You go.
And then we've had, you know, Jerry Richardson from Texas is dialing in. Matter of fact, he called Deadlow's bar in Cincinnati requesting a song, and he's like, "You're from what?" The bartender's like, "You're from Texas? You're trying to," right? And it was kind of funny. But we, you know, I do the thing where if somebody's in the crowd and they make a request, I'll do that one before the online one. But we try to make that fun, and we get people talking, and you'd be surprised the conversations that go on during it's hilarious during the Facebook Live. But I used to do them in our kitchen, which somebody was just saying to me this last weekend at the Super Bowl thing that we were doing at the American Legion. And they're like, please do your live shows again. You know, I enjoyed watching them. And I'm like, it was weird because I was like, really? People watch? You know, I was just like, really? People are watching? So I guess, so I'm going to try to get back doing that. But I like doing it in the kitchen here at the house because then I can watch the comments and interact better. And it's more storytelling. I think that's usually my strong suit is the storytelling and having fun with it. And I do like 5 songs on sometimes on a Monday night. And I'll try to get back to that. But yeah, it's kind of fun. But that was the way that I kind of figured that niche out. Switcher Studio is a cool little app that you can pull on Facebook, and you get multiple camera angles. and do stuff like that. We're trying to work bugs.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It's check out Switcher Studio. It's a really neat one that you can do multi-camera angles. You can sync anybody's iPad in the room as long as they're under the same Wi-Fi. And if they give you permission, then you can use their camera angles too. So you can get you can get one person that's holding an iPad to moderate it and be the basically like camera 1, camera 2, the person that's sitting there, the producer of it basically.
Camera 84.
Yeah, it's fun. It's something great, but I really look forward to playing with Joey. We're kind of starting something new together and having fun with it. But I really enjoy the guys in the band.
Have you guys been around? I mean, have you been together a while?
1 Degree from Mandy started back in 2012. That's my brand. Each one of us in the band were all knew this girl named Mandy from a different part of our lives. One worked with her, Snappy Tomato, but it was just funny how all three of us in the band knew her.
It could have been Karen. It could have been Karen, but it's Mandy.
It could have been a Karen, but it wasn't a Karen. It was Mandy. And so she worked with me in a hospital, but actually my keyboard player that was playing with me at the time is engaged to her. So they met at my birthday party that we kind of all got together and started playing. And so when life hit the other two, I took on and kept playing music, and I played in a different band name with other people, but eventually I just came back to the 1 Degree from Mandy thing. So it's me and whatever guys come in and out of the band.
You guys cycle through folks that have different life aspirations, or someone has kids, and
life hits bands, know. So, but I'm really, really blessed. The guys that I've got now, Scott Stewart's my drummer. He's our heartbeat. He is my pocket guy. That it's just like, and when you find a drummer that shows up on time,
right,
and always shows up, you got to keep them, right? So,
what about bass players?
Blessed.
You got a problem with bass players too?
Bass players are rough. Yes, but we have Mark Miller. I met him at an event that I was helping out at a music festival last year, and he's just perfect. It's got that groove, and just fit right in with Scott. So that's huge. Taylor Farley is my rhythm player. He plays a telly and really can bring that sound. And he's actually the director of legal affairs, our lawyer for Hanoi's Lost Child. But this guy's my best friend, and I've grown up with him since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And
are you guys all veterans?
No, I'm the only vet in the band. But Taylor, it's that again, civilians that are willing to help vets. It's just a big honor, So he's huge part of us. And it's funny, Taylor and I grew up together because our dads played music together. His dad was one of the top banjo players in the nation back in the 80s.
Bluegrass?
And my dad was, he played blue rock. So he was one of the first progressive guys that took bluegrass instruments and played rock and roll.
If you're ever going to assign a term of progressive bluegrass, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. He took a lot of slack back in when, Bill Monroe was alive and really took some heat, but nowadays look at where it's really gone. So he was really ahead of his time. And Taylor actually played rhythm for his dad growing up. So there's times where they had to sneak Taylor in the bars so he can play rhythm for the band.
Yes, so I've heard that story a lot.
He's long in the tooth as far as playing music. They've even gone on tour with Charlie Daniels before, and so he's kind of a wise guy when it comes to understanding the parts of everything that need to go into what we do. And so he's one of my rocks. And then we have a young guitar player, which you can probably hear in a lot of that, like in the song that you heard there, Matt Getz. And he's phenomenal. And he just it's one of those, like, you just let that horse run.
I really liked Hanoi's Lost Child, the song. It was was smooth. It's 4 minutes long, but you don't realize it's 4 minutes long.
Well, it's got that intro, that kind of the speech part of it.
Yeah. And
then, of course, it ends. I don't know if you heard the Huey effect on the end
of
it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a neat little fun. That was the story behind that, when you're sitting in the studio and you're trying to create the sound. And so when you sample a Huey sound, they
all sound the same until they're not the same.
Well, it's a thump. It's that Huey thump, right? And I really wanted to bring that out. And but the sound engineer was like, let me play with something right here. And he was able to inverse the sound the way it's two different recordings layered. And he was able to get it to where the sine waves were going separately. And so when it made it sound like the helicopter was moving.
Yeah.
That was an engineer trick. That was not a sampled sound. That was actually, the engineer was able to do it with a program and get that to make it sound like it was taking off. And that was one of my favorite parts of the entire recording process, just kind of figuring that out, because that, paying attention to that little detail like that was just so much fun when you really get to put everything under a magnifying glass.
Recording secrets from 1 Degree from Marne.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun. And let's see. I'm excited. I'm working on writing right now. We're getting ready to put some stuff together. I've got a fun song. It's called "She Took It All with High Heels On." That I'm working on.
Did.
Yeah. And did you catch the hook, line, and sinker song on the internet?
I have not, to be honest.
Okay. All right. That was my country tune that goes against all the rules of country.
Oh, so I like it already.
Yeah. So it's about the guy that gets the girl at the bar, not the guy that loses the truck or loses the dog or loses the girl. It was about the guy that gets her and takes her home. So it was written by two dorks, me and my buddy Jake Doherty, having fun in our garage. And that one, I love that song because when we play, it's just the energy in the room. It gets butt shaking, feet tapping, it just brings smiles out. And so I was playing with this new lick, and I was showing it to the guys, and they sarcastically were like, "Oh, you should write a sequel to Hook, Line, and Sinker." I'm like, got it. So that was where "She Took It All with High Heels" song is about a country song where he does lose his ass. He does lose the girl. He does lose the dog and that such. But I did it in a manner where it's not cliche. Like, it had to be clever. So, I try to take those fun things and spin it, and have fun. But you heard the Hanoi's Lost Child.
Yes.
If you play that again, listen to the shot I took at Hanoi Jane.
Oh.
So, there's a hidden one in there. I always wanted to take a shot at her, and that one's for all my Vietnam brothers, and that one's in there, and I enjoyed putting that one in there. The original word that I called it instead of a woman, it was not radio friendly, so I definitely made that radio edit at the studio. But it was let's see. Sergeant says, "Rise and shine, ain't no time for slack. We're the good old boys from old Hanoi, where Jane has got your back."
Oh.
That woman is sleazing with a voice of treason, yet he's swearly standing tall. He cries, he tries, he's seen it all. So meaning, the Hanoi Jane story with the Vietnam vets that were in the POW camp, where she turned their back and handed the Social Security numbers back to the captors. So basically that's where he's standing, with the voice of treason, where he swears he's standing tall. That's what that reference is to in that song there. And then the third verse talks about he returns back then with what should have been a welcome home, just acknowledging that these guys didn't exactly get the warmest welcome coming back.
Oh, they sure didn't.
Yeah. And then that last verse is talking about, he's sitting there freezing with a gun pointed underneath his chin, trying to decide, what should have been pointed at someone else, is pointing at himself. So
that got my attention, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." So that was definitely one of those, like, you try to, you're trying to paint a story, and you're trying to captures people through storytelling. That was one of those that, I enjoyed writing that song and writing that process. And then, I love writing stories, but I have a hard time writing about my own life. So, because it just gets so personal, especially when you try to write something in that deep detail.
Right.
That it's just so hard. So it's coming. I just have to, I guess, open up that
you got to break
armor.
that. You got to break that barrier.
I do. I got to break that armor. So it's coming.
I know we've been on here a while, and I failed to ask you about your service. You were in the Air Force. Tell me about your service.
1998 to 2004. I was a surgical services journeyman, which an operating room tech. I trained down at Wichita Falls, Texas. Then went to Wright Pat, and then close to home. Felt like I needed to get out away from being, an hour away from home. I joined the service. So I put one of those worldwide anywhere. You can send me anywhere in the world, right?
And then a recruiter was like, "Hey, man."
Well, that's when. Well, this was after active duty. They put you. It's like, "Hey, I'm willing to PCS anywhere else." So you have to go in and change like your desired bases. You have your top fives.
Yes.
But as soon as you put that worldwide anywhere,
I had a top 3, and I never went to any of them.
Right. And so exactly. But when you're doing that, and then as soon as you go in there and you hit that code where it's worldwide anywhere, believe it or not, 2 months later, slot opened up in Bitburg, Germany. And I was shipped over there in November of 2000, which was pretty, lucky. I could have gotten Korea or,
Oh, Korea's fine. You'd have been in Osan. So.
Oh, I've been through it.
Yeah.
So, that's the beautiful thing. After, so joined the service, and because of the Air Force, I've been blessed to visit 37 countries in this world. And, so I did probably 27 months total of deployments over the 4 years I was stationed in Germany. My daughter was born.
This is where your pillow is, but you're going to go other places.
Yeah. So 9/11 happened. And to give you an idea, my daughter Liberty was born exactly 9 months after 9/11. So that'll tell you what I was doing before I had to report to the flight line.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful name.
So, yeah, thank you. So after after 9/11 happened, I was recalled. I was part of what they call an EMEDS team. The light lean can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and build a hospital in anywhere. So ended up doing that. And then we were instantly sent to the U.S. To get some training. And then by coming that February, we were gone. And so I was over there in Oman when Operation Red Wing happened. So we took in the mass casualty there. So I was, in that pretty early. So I was part of the OEF early birds back in 2002, and did quite a few deployments between that and 2004 when I got out in November 2004.
How you been doing so far? You're doing good as far as, you're in a good headspace, and
oh yeah,
you just got everything going on.
Yeah, I guess still have the, I guess, a bit thought that I need to help other guys and do that stuff. You know, we all have our moments where things will, you know, bring back memories or things like that. But some people, I've been blessed as far as medically. You know, when, you know, we get into some chaotic situations in the operating room or in a medical situation where some freeze, some run, some don't know what to do, and some just respond and just go. And I've always been a guy, I guess, that just kind of runs towards the fight. And I guess in those moments, it always slows down. I guess chaos always slows down for me. And I guess, I don't know, it's just one of those moments.
So tell us how we can help Hanoi's lost child. What do you got coming on?
We got the event this weekend. That's going to be at Dead Low Brewing Company. And Texas, we've got the Texas Veterans United that we're running with Operation Valor. And that was supposed to go in April of last year. And COVID killed it. COVID, yeah. So it will be going, I would right now tentatively around October 2nd. But it may be basically in the first couple weeks of October or late September. We're going to have a huge outlaw country music. I know it's your favorite. Outlaw country music festival down in Waxahachie, Texas, down at Ellis County Expo Center. I'm going to do the walkthrough, and we're going to set the date at the end of the month when I'm down there for Helicopters for Heroes. And we get a great lineup, and we're going to continue to build it. We got Mickey LaMantia. We've got Dallas Moore, Johnny Paycheck Jr., One Degree from Mandy, Creed Fisher, working on keeping Jackson Taylor in the centers on it. You know, just trying to make sure scheduling, that's the hardest thing after trying to reschedule everything. Trying to reschedule everybody. And
everybody's rescheduling.
Yeah, right. So, and everybody's looking forward to a great year. But I think we're going to do well, and we're going to make it a nice, long, full day, big party. And that way it'll help not only Hanoi's Lost Child, but also Operation Valor. And,
so we can, everyone listening can just go to the your Facebook, Hanoi's Lost Child Foundation.
Yeah, that's the best way for us. Yeah, please give us a like, because then what we can do is share. We're getting ready to ramp back up the winters. You know, the holiday months. You know, we try to bunker down, reset, get everybody energized, and come back in. That's the great thing about this Helicopter for Heroes event. Kind of gets us up back in the groove, in the go, just re-energizes us for the year. We're going to do another comedy show. I'm working on those details right now. And we call that Laugh for HLCF. Dry Bar Comedy's been a great connection for us with some great up-and-coming talent comedians. But, you know, if anybody wants you know, musicians and wants bands and wants us to get out and play, we'll bring it. We'll bring the party to you, and we can, you know, that's what we do. And then we have a good time. We'll make the big party, and then you're going to also have the great feeling that we're going to also, you know, get some veterans some help that they need. And I think that's I think it's a great little, you know, recipe to be able to do some fun stuff. So
one of our hosts on Tuesday night, CQ, is a wounded warrior, and he made his way back into society through comedy. So that's he'd be a perfect candidate if he wants. I need to get his info, so you know, I'm actually kind of right now putting it together, and I would love to get I need a third comic, so that could be a perfect fit. CQ, are you listening? Here.
Yeah. Hey. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll do it. You know, and what we've done too, we're trying to get to where, we got a great Cincinnati market that we work in. But we're really trying to start getting to that moment where we start traveling a little bit and getting outside of Cincinnati. I just bought, we just bought a work and play toy hauler, so I can maybe start hauling the equipment. And then we can get out there and have the luxury of having, it'll haul the gear, but also give us a place to kind of rest and things like that. So we're looking forward to get into that road mindset a little bit. And, most venues right now are wanting that acoustic duo or solo stuff. But our band we can fit in a tiny corner. We do an acoustic drum kit with a cajon. We can do that and put a 5-piece band in the corner and make it but we're still pretty loud. So we're country rock blues, right? So we can play, our formula is acoustic front. I've kind of got an old Johnny Cash voice a little bit, but I'll do some Stapleton stuff, but I'll even do all the way up to some Journey and things like that.
You can't do the Journey. Can you do the Journey?
No, I'll do Faithfully.
Really?
I'll drop the key a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. And
I saw your what's the Johnny Cash
the Folsom Prison.
Yeah, Folsom Prison.
Yeah, that's an old one. That's that's one of those, we like to play that one around just because we like to.
It's just good. It's just good. It's never ever bad. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's as soon as you hear that down, and as soon as we play that, you'll hear, you just hear a couple of hoots. Mm-hmm. And that's what we play for, is the Woo Girl, right? So I tell people about the Woo Girl all the time when I play. It's a nice little icebreaker to the crowd, because that's my job as a musician, not more play music. That's obviously the role, but I need to be able to get that person out from behind their drink and loosen up a little bit and engage, right? So if I can start getting to where I can find that person and get it. So my formula, I'll tell you my formula in the bar. If I'm playing a 4-hour set, I start playing a lot of like older stuff like Eagles, CCR, things like that. Bob Seger's early on, because I'll try to keep my older folks drinking in the bar. And if I can keep them there from 8 to 9, drinking a lot more refined, more expensive drinks, I'm helping the bar out.
Then by 10, you have another audience.
By 9, that's when I start finding the Woo Girl. I'll start mixing up songs between country, rock a little bit, and then I'll find that thing, because once you find that girl and she starts fanning herself and that's her song, you feed that jukebox, man, and you feed that thing. And then what happens is that ball of energy in the room just starts changing the entire environment, and you get guys trying to buy her drinks. You'll get the older woman that you kept in the bar in the back in the corner drinking her glass of wine.
This is called musical networking.
Oh yeah. And then, so she's watching that train wreck, because that used to be her. So that's fun too. You create entertainment and you create energy in that room. And then by 10 or 11, you're playing the drunken set and you're just feeding them all. And then you get that ball of energy and you get them up dancing and things like that. That's what gets you brought back to a bar. Not how well you sing, not how well you play guitar. It's how well you can get that crowd to start figuring out. So I have too many musician buddies that it's all about the music and it's all about the craft and all that stuff, and they just can't figure out how to entertain a crowd. But I'm just a monkey with a 6-string box with strings on it. And if I can get that working, but hey, thank you. But I don't think so. But people say that I can. So I just have fun with it, and I have fun telling stories and playing songs that connect to people, and it just makes it to where it doesn't even feel like work. And I just enjoy doing that, and that's our recipe, and that's what we do, and we just have a good time.
Ryan, you guys do great work. So go ahead and plug your website.
Okay, so it's Hanoi'sLostChild.com. But I'll tell you, Facebook, through Messenger, through our pages, Wings Up Outdoors, Operation Headstone, -HLCF, Rapid Response. That's the way to get us going, and that's the way to get a hold of us. And but seriously, if you on Rapid Response Fund, if you have somebody that you are worried that they are suicidal and you need immediate help, you get a hold of us through that Facebook page on Messenger, and we will respond and we will get somebody active and get it on it. And that's what we do. So that's the most important one on it. You know, we'll have some stuff through Wings Up Outdoors where we'll have possible outdoor events that people can get involved with. We're looking for people to become Wings Up advocates, where they can take people out hunting and fishing and stuff like that. That's huge. You know, if you want to get involved, get involved. If you want to just donate money, and that's what makes you feel good to just, I want to help an organization, we can definitely use the resources to put in the right way.
Every dollar of that goes towards your efforts with an S.
We are 100% nonprofit. Yeah, we there's nobody that takes a salary in this thing. It's all mission related. You know, mission related. There's times when we need to get things to be able to go onto it, but it goes about affecting, you know, that vet when we go down. You know, we just, like our 4 vets that we just went down to Land Between the Lakes and put some guys in deer stands, and but we paired them up where it was buddy and so the connections and you know, at the end of the day, when they come up to you and you're like, man, I really needed this, thank you. That's what we do it for. You know, I don't need it for the attention or anything like that. We do it just to make sure guys, you know, keep their heads up and keep going on towards the next day and then not having problems, you know, and that's what we look forward to. And matter of fact, one of the guys, when we were out on a trip in Florida and we sat down at night and I grabbed my guitar out, he and I sat there, I guess everybody else was pretty much passed out. And I'm like, man, I was like, you know, he's really into music and he was asking me questions and such. And I was like, dude, let's write a song. So we started putting some lyrics together. Yeah. So that kind of stuff just happens, you know, and I'm working on it. I got to refine it before I release it. But it's called, it's all about the stories. Eddie Alvaran was the guy that wrote it with me. I'm refining that one. I'm getting it together. He's a 160th Night Stalker guy.
This is so cool.
Yeah, he still teaches the craft. He's retired, but now works in the civilian sector teaching the Night Stalker kids. So it's pretty awesome. And, you know, got that one coming. I've got a few other hidden gems that even, you know, Peggy doesn't even know about. You know, that black book you keep in your bag that you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
But I enjoy, you know, I do enjoy writing military songs, but God, I write a lot of dark stuff. So I gotta, you know, that's where She Took It All with High Heels On was the idea from the buddies. Like, dude, hey, we need some fun, upbeat stuff. We can't keep playing all this dark stuff the whole time, or we're gonna just make everybody depressed when we play. So
get off the E minor, bro.
Yeah, definitely get off of that. Yeah, definitely. Hanoi is out of D minor, so that tells you. But we're working on that. We're a lot of drop D tunes, a lot of fun, gritty. You know, some stuff with some slide. Guitars coming in. Really letting the blues stuff really, but with some energy. I always tell people I always have a rock rhythm section. So I want that driving beat. I want a blues lead player, and then Adam Taylor with that fat telly sound. He's playing with good 13s, man.
He's good, man.
He plays with 13, so yeah, that's why it sounds really thick. And yeah, we've, you know, those drums, that sound comes out of Queen City Drums. I got to give them a shout because they are we're endorsed by Queen City Drums. It's just a great sound that we can get when we record, and thumpy. And you actually, if you listen to 22 War Cry, you got to get on that.
I'm gonna do that like in 10 minutes when we're done.
Oh yeah, hit that one and turn the bass up on it.
I will. And
because you're gonna feel a 4-inch by 22 battle drum,
dude,
that we designed just for that song.
And
that's
deep.
Queen City.
That is so deep.
Oh yeah, it's a big one. And you'll feel it in your chest. And I cranked that song up in the truck, and you can feel that thump in your chest. And But that's a song going against veteran suicide. That's us taking an action against it, and that's what the 22 War Cry album is. And if you spin those songs, if you spin them on Spotify or any downloadable site, 100% of those songs go to veteran organizations. They do not go to, it's not about putting it in my pocket or anything like that. 22 War Cry, Hanoi's Lost Child, In Color, all those songs are all going back to helping vets if we can get the royalties on it. One day, hopefully I'll write that song that really does it. And then that way I don't have to worry about going out and campaigning money, and I'll just let that do the work. And we'll just use those resources and do that. That's the dream, right? So one day I'll write a song, maybe that'll do it. But that's the idea and the premises of it. But we'll see.
Ryan, thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Hanoi's Lost Child. Go check them out on Facebook. And that's the end of our show. And I think have we gone over? I've lost my co-host. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Amy. That's all right. Well, I don't know. You get that moment to talk about these things.
It's awesome.
I'm here. Let's do it.
I've had a great time talking with you, Ryan. This is great.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm really appreciative of someone who is so enthusiastic of what they do. They just can't stop talking, and I love it. This is what I love.
Yeah, I'm getting eye rolls from my fiance trying to be like, hey, okay, but no, it's but that's the thing is it's like, no, let's get out there to let people know what we're doing, and we need to get campaigning to get things going. We're trying to get she's looking at me like I didn't say that. Yeah, we're getting motivated, we're getting ramped up again, we're getting the energy coming, and we're just hoping that COVID stays out of our way. We're just going to do things smart. We got it. You just got to re-look at everything and go and just analyze it and be like, how can I beat this? How can I get creative enough? How can I be a step ahead of somebody else? And that's what we're going to do this year and really come out and get this party going again. So
it's going to happen.
Looking forward to playing for you.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So it's going to happen this Sunday. So I'm excited about that one. So we're going to have a great time. And, Joey's one of those guys, I'm even in awe when I get to sit next to him and listen to him sing. So it's a treat for me. So if it's a treat for me, I know it's a treat for everybody in the crowd. So if you're really wanting to come and see a show, you definitely want to come and see it this Sunday. So I'm excited about it too. So and he's going with me to Texas. So that's even more of a treat. So we're looking forward to it, man. I appreciate you guys, and I'll let you guys get off here. I know you got to close this up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. Paul Wilson from Hanoi's Lost Child. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. My name is Koz, and we're gonna sign off here because we're over time. And Amy, we're gonna need some overtime pay. Thank you very much.
Mean snacks.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.